I, Virginia Dionley,
do affirm that I will
do affirm that I will
support the Constitution of the United States
support the Constitution of the United States.
and
Rockville salutes Black History Month and takes time to salute Councilwoman Virginia Dionley, Rockville's first African-American woman council member. A descendant of a freed slave, the daughter of two hardworking parents raising 7 children on a small town farm in Maryland, Rockville City Councilwoman Virginia Dionley's story is one of tenacity, determination, and dedication.
Where we lived, by the Department of Agriculture, it was considered a farm because we had chickens and pigs, and that's why I spoke out so about the animal ordinance with the chickens.
While some may set out to make history, it would seem that Councilwoman Dionley was following her destiny to become the first Black woman council member in Rockville.
When I'm called to step up to the plate, I do it.
When she moved to Rockville back in 1993, she knew that Rockville's cultural landscape was changing and was getting more diverse, and she wanted to make sure that diversity would be represented in Rockville city government.
When I found out that there was no African-American woman elected in Rockville, it didn't deter me. It didn't make me say, oh, well, maybe this is not the position for an African-American woman. It fueled me to continue to stay on course and to fill that void.
But getting a seat on the council was a winding road. The councilwoman had already put in over 3 decades at IBM and been involved with a long list of organizations within the city for over 20 years. But it wasn't until 2009 that she would take the leap in the political arena and run for Rockville City Council.
A couple people said to me, oh, I didn't know there was an opening on the council. Meaning, because there were incumbents, if all of the incumbents were going to run again, then that wouldn't be an opening for me. And I said, yes, there are actually 5 openings, the mayor and 4 council members. The elected positions are open for whoever wants to grab them every 2 years, now every 4 years.
Pulling from the strength of her great-grandfather, who was a freed slave, she would try twice, and making the 3rd time the charm and fulfill her destiny. And in 2013, she became Rockville's first African-American woman council member.
And we were raised to go after what we wanted in life, and never to give up. Giving up just wasn't an option.
Councilwoman Dionley's family legacy is nothing short of amazing. From her great-grandfather who walked around with his freedom papers folded in his pocket, to her humble upbringing on a farm in Libertytown, Maryland, there's no question to where her spirit of determination and dedication comes from. Now in her 2nd term, Councilwoman Dionley is still working hard for the city of Rockville and hopes that her story can be a model for anyone of any race, any background, to never give up and always follow your dreams.
I do represent, African Americans because I am African American. This is what I signed up for, and for people to know who I am and to be an example, and hopefully I am a good example.
For Rock 11 Now, I'm Kathy Dantzler. Rockville 11 celebrates Black History Month with a very interesting historic fact about Rockville. The Underground Railroad, which freed hundreds of thousands of slaves and spanned across 14 northern states, included our hometown, Rockville. It provided a pathway to freedom for so many, including people like Josiah Henson, the model for the title character in Uncle Tom's Cabin, and even a slave by the name of Anne Maria Wims, who dressed up as a man to have her chance at freedom. Anthony Cohen, a 4th-generation descendant of a runaway slave, retracked the 1,000-mile route of the Underground Railroad from Maryland to Canada. He tells the story of the blood, sweat, and tears that lined this part of the journey to a new life for thousands of slaves.
The city of Rockville was what could be described as a hub of the Underground Railroad. One story that comes to mind is that of Christ Episcopal Church. which had in its membership both slaveholders and non-slave holding people worshiping together. A legend persists that there's a crawl space, which you can still see today, under the church, where slaves were said to have been hidden. In terms of the historical record, people such as Judge Bowie, whose home is now the Glenview Mansion at the Rockville Civic Center. He was a unionist, so he was for preservation of the United States as it was at the time, but he was also a slaveholder. But he would have been one of the first to concede that slavery was an arcane system and that its last days were upon them.
Continuing our celebration of Black History Month with a look back at this year's 44th annual Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day celebration, Rock 11 Now's Kobe Ford has more.
Rockville is starting off the new year by remembering a dream, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s dream for racial equality. The city's celebration is a dream realized with a rainbow of cultural diversity all in one place.
We want to continue Dr. King's dream, that we embrace, our differences and celebrate our differences, and we're all inclusive. We want to make sure that when we have a celebration that we include everyone and that we make sure that we keep Dr. King's legacy going, which is, quite an honor. I'm proud to be a Rockville resident because of that, because of the way we celebrate and the way we treat one another.
So Rockville is one of the most diverse cities in the United States, okay? And it's got people who are poor and people who are wealthy and everything in between, and diverse neighborhoods. And yet it's a place where everybody is welcome. And I think Martin Luther King Day epitomizes that.
This year's theme, the challenge of building a community in the age of Ferguson and Baltimore, was present in the keynote speaker and co-founder of the Truth Telling Project, David Ragland's speech.
My message is really going to be sharing King's radical truth. And it's the truth that he shared at Riverside Church in his opposition to the Vietnam War. And it's a message of celebration that we can solve our problems without violence. And if we can solve our problems without violence in the movement for nonviolence and civil rights, this country surely can solve its problems without using the tools and weapons of war.
While peaceful protesting is the cornerstone of King's nonviolent movement, there are many layers to the legacy of the civil rights advocate, including leadership and making a positive impact. And these qualities shine in the mixture of different colors and ages of the people who are committed to Dr. King's cause.
And what I love this ceremony was showed the collaboration. So many young people were involved. I believe it's the young people that are going to change this and lead this movement to include everybody. And there's just a lot happening in this community.
I think I have to go to school and just teach my friends and communicate with my society in school that no one is inferior to you and no one is superior. You're all important and equally essential to a successful society.
This celebration of global heritages mirrors exactly what Dr. King wanted, and Rockville is proud to make Dr. King's dream a reality every year. Check out the 44th annual Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. celebration right now on our YouTube channel and on our website at rockvillemd.gov/Rockville11.